We was born ready. Ha ha.
Are
Hey,
we ready now?
I
Right.
think that's right. If you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know.
So thank you for coming on and joining us for another episode of The Color of Truth. Tonight we are going to be talking about how we say we don't practice polygamy or polyamory, and yet there's a lot of different dynamics to relationships. So we're going to talk about those dynamics to relationships and how those relationship dynamics affect us as a community as a whole. So we'll be talking about a couple different things. A lot of people don't know there is a difference between polygamy and polyamory when it comes to relationships. No different than the multiple baby mama, multiple baby daddy drama. We're going to break down what polygamy and polyamory is, and then we'll get a little bit into the conversation. Right now, to go ahead and get us started, Miss Nisi's going to tell us about the difference between the two. So break it down for us, Miss Nisi.
Well, I was just gonna say, hey everybody, how you doing this day? How you doing? My bad. Okay.
Your
How
energy
you
is
doing?
so up.
How y'all doing? How your mama doing and stuff? But I also want to say what's up to Miss D. Hey, Sister D. Boom,
Hey.
oh. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we get everybody out here. Okay. But yes. Now the word that I do not like, and I'm gonna have sis go ahead and say it for me one more again, because it is not a word that's gonna come out of my mouth very clearly.
It's polyamory.
Yeah, that word right there. Since I don't want to mess it up, let's get into the definition of that one. Polyamory is an act of having intimate relationships with more than one person at the same time. A polyamorous, bam, I said it right, person might have or might be open to having multiple, ooh, that's slick. Oh, I like that. My bad. Romantic partners. Now, polygamy, though, is pretty much married, married to multiple partners, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's kind of like illegal in the United States. Probably not all of the United States, I'm sure, and maybe in a state or two they might allow it. But
Utah.
to my knowledge, it's illegal.
One
I
little
think
town.
it's illegal in all 50 states.
Okay.
One little town that'll let you slide in Utah. That's where you see that show going on. Where they have all of the multiples. I can't even think of what the name of the show is, but it's
Sister
Wives and stuff.
Sister Wives. Yep. On Sister Wives. That's where they had that show Sister Wives. And they hosted over in Utah because it's the only little town that'll allow you to be able to get away with it.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, yeah. So with those two being started, I'm just saying, go ahead, Sister D, if you got some stats on it.
Well, so first of all, I'm with Roxy. It's my viewpoint that a lot more people practice polygamy or polygamous lifestyles, live kind of like poly lifestyles without acknowledging or maybe kind of sort of disassociating with the term of a poly lifestyle. And I think a lot of it has to do with how we view poly relationships or what that mental image looks like to us. But there are multiple ways that the things that we do today basically show that we engage in poly lifestyles, whether it's polygamy, whether it's polyamorous, regardless of what it is, we engage in poly lifestyles. One of the ways right now, currently, something that's trending, threesomes. So, of course, that is like the hot thing to do now because your favorite rapper is talking about it. His favorite rapper is talking about it. So it kind of became this trend to where everybody felt like they had to engage in, multiple partner activity. So that in itself is engaging in somewhat of a poly lifestyle. But the two more interesting ways that people engage in poly lifestyles, one is, let's talk about cheating, for instance. So what's interesting is a study shows that 20% of Americans believe that poly relationships are acceptable. They don't necessarily practice them, but they believe that they're acceptable forms of relationships. Now, what's also odd is that 20% of married people cheat, according to a study. Now, I think everybody would probably argue that they feel like those numbers are higher than that. And I agree. Whether it's men or women, I really feel like those numbers are a lot higher than that. But it's a lot higher in women than people like to admit. So when it comes to the terms of cheating, of course, we all know the stories of men are dogs. They step out. Most of us have been in a relationship or two where men have actually stepped out. So, but women do too. We just don't like to admit it, or we're not caught. Like I said, men cheat more often, but women happen to cheat a little bit smarter. But there are a lot of ways that you can determine or that show women actually engage in a lot of cheating more than men do. So in America, there's estimated about 1.6 million men that are actually paying child support for non-biological children. So 1.6 million men. So if 1.6 million men are paying child support for non-biological children, that in itself shows that women actually cheat probably more often than we actually like to admit. And those men are paying child support because of estoppel law. And this may be off topic, but for those who don't know what estoppel law is basically you don't have the right to a freedom where you previously exercised the opposite of that. So in other words, if you've been in a relationship with somebody who either you thought they were your kids, but they weren't, and then all of a sudden now you're getting divorced, because you tended to those kids, you don't get to stand in family court and say, well, I'm not responsible for that child because the child's not biologically mine. Because you have previously taken care of that child, you don't get to claim the right to walk away from responsibility because you've previously been responsible. So that's pretty much what estoppel law is. But that in and of itself, like in Texas, I think in Texas, there's 168,000 cases where men are actually paying child support for children that aren't theirs. So, and oftentimes you'll go to family court and you'll hear the stories where men find out they got him and his wife had 3 kids together. They find out the middle child wasn't theirs. So there was an act of infidelity on the woman's part. So we do a lot more cheating than we actually like to admit. But the other one is the dating people with kids or marrying people with kids. Now, this is probably not necessarily viewed as what you would call a poly relationship, but most of us engage in what they call, where you constantly have serial monogamy. So most of us engage in serial monogamy, whether it's on accident or intentionally, whether it's because you always like the new love of a relationship, that new lust, that new feeling, whether it's because one relationship ends and you're moving on to the next and you're hoping that this is going to be the one. But in my opinion, engaging in serial monogamy is a gateway to a poly lifestyle. Because think about this. If you're in that relationship and you're treating that relationship like it's the relationship that's going to last, this is the one, everybody's the one, or whether you're practicing hypergamy, you're always looking for that next step. So if you get into a relationship with somebody with kids, right? You know that they have kids, and before you get into the relationship, by accepting those terms, by getting into that relationship, knowing that this person has kids, whether it's he that has kids from an outside or another relationship, or if it's you that actually has kids living in the house with you, to date that individual with kids is accepting the terms of a poly relationship. And the reason why is because if you believe that parents are responsible for taking care of their kids, that means in order to be in a relationship with somebody with kids, you have to understand that there are going to be resources that come out of this household and go into another household. That in itself is what you call a plural family. The idea of polygamy is plural families. So if you're dating people with kids, knowing that they have kids, or a guy meets a woman with kids, you meet a man with kids, and you accept those terms, you go on with the relationship. And then later on, that relationship turns into now we have kids. And if that relationship doesn't work out, then you're on to the next relationship. So you get into a place where people have multiple baby daddies and or multiple baby mamas. So in order for us to believe, Right. In order for us to have the mentality that parents are responsible for raising their kids, and we have multiple children out in wedlock, whether we have multiple children, whether it's in marriage or not, because there are people that have been married multiple times and all their children have come out of those marriages. But in order for us to believe that we're responsible for those kids, you have to have a village mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
because we know that we have to take, so
Mm-hmm.
child support, if you believe in the foundation of child support, you believe in a village mentality. I can't do this by myself. That's the village mentality. So, but we're living the village lifestyle, but we don't want to accept what a poly relationship is. And to me, that is so crazy because it tends people to be in judgmental of others who openly um accept that lifestyle or engage in that lifestyle, not knowing that our actions in and of themselves are in poly type relationships. We're living poly lifestyles. We're just not accepting the lifestyle or calling it what it is.
So what about those people that don't have relationships with their other baby mamas or baby daddies, that don't talk to the other parent at all? Because they're going to definitely argue that, oh, no, I'm not in a relationship with them. I don't even talk to them. They don't even call their kids. They don't do this or that for the family. So is it still considered to be a family, a plural family, even though they're not talking at all?
Participating.
Literally, figuratively, yes, it is. Because that's still that man's child, whether he's physically there or not. The concept is you're supposed to be responsible for your kids. Both parents, it took two to make them, both parents should be responsible for their kids. That's the argument of family court. Every family court USA, that is the argument. We are both responsible. The reason why child support exists is because you are also responsible whether you live in the house or not. So just because you don't physically engage and assist in raising that child, the concept is the same. So while the person dating him may not necessarily be, I guess, accepting those terms because he's not there, he himself is practicing that lifestyle because he has an outside family. And he's probably moving on to the next outside family.
So what about those ones that don't have kids?
What about those ones that?
What about the ones that don't have children at all? And they decide that, I mean, maybe they're not necessarily cheating, but we live in a society today where people think, I'm not going to say people think, what I'm going to say is where people date more than one person at a time. And they may or may not sleep with these multiple people at a time. Generally, some people do. But some people, have different standards where they feel like they're going to wait until they get married, or they're going to wait and see, maybe I'll date these 3 guys, or then I'm going to see which one of those guys I like out of the 3. Do you think
my problem with that is the concept that just because there's not an exchange of sexual activities, that is still not considered a poly relationship, because that goes back to people thinking a polyamorous or a polygamy, that type of relationship is about sex, and it's not about sex. The idea of plural families is the village mentality. It's the whether it's a religious belief, whether you want to keep all your resources at home and you believe in this is my kingdom. I want multiple wives and multiple children. God said we're supposed to replenish the earth. Regardless of your reason, I'm just saying. I think people who look at the poly relationships as is strictly about sex, that's not necessarily what those relationships are about. So just because you're not engaging in sexual activities with somebody, you're still living a poly type relationship. You're still living that lifestyle. You're just not accepting the terminology. So you may not physically be living that lifestyle, but the lifestyle that you live lends to that type of relationship.
So I'm going to say that I can definitely see the viewpoint on that, especially when it comes to polyamorous relationships. Polygamy relationships is a little bit different because of the fact that polygamy generally means that you're married to more than one person at a time, right?
The legalities.
Right. The legal part of it. Polyamorous relationships, they generally have no boundaries. A lot of polyamorous relationships could be 2 men and 1 woman, 2 women and 1 man, 3 women and 1 man, 5 women and 2
Oh,
men.
Lord Jesus.
It could be transgender, and so it could go many different ways, right?
Absolutely.
And people believe many different things. There are people that believe if you are because polygamy was a normal thing back in the day, right? People used to get married all the time. It was like in Bible times, people were marrying siblings. Like getting married to more than one person was normal, especially if there was a woman that couldn't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was normal for a man to go out and for him to marry someone else that could have kids in order to be able to continue the family population and keep the families going. So that mentality that we have is not something that's far from all of us, because it's something that's been ingrained in us since the beginning, right? It's just something that legally became something that was wrong when they decided that the Bible said that marriage was instituted between 1 man and 1 woman, that things changed and it became a problem. So the polyamory of it is generally less frowned down upon than the polygamy piece of it. And like you said, that's because of that legality part. But I think it's all one and the same. So whether you married to more than one person or whether you just sleeping with more than one person, it's all the same difference to me, for real.
I do too. And my problem is the people who frown on the lifestyle. I'm not saying you have to engage. I'm not saying you have to agree with it. But it's the frowning upon it, and the people who frown upon it the most engage in some of the most poly activities I've seen. So to me, it's just funny to watch people's reaction to it. And as a matter of fact, I think somebody had made a comment on our Facebook page about that, about it being, biblically wrong. What was it? Hebrews 13:4, where it said the bed shall not be defiled, or what else does it say?
Yeah, that a marriage bed shouldn't be defiled.
But so my question was, what is considered defiled if all parties are in agreement and have accepted those terms? Is that still considered defiled? Because from my understanding, biblically, that is the defiled is referring to an adulterous act. So if all parties are in agreement, is it considered an adulterous act? And at that moment in time, is it then defiling the bedroom?
Right. And just like a young lady just said, that's why you get a hotel bed. Oh, she came in right on time then. This is right on time. Like,
you defile your own bed.
Right.
Do it at the hotel bed.
But hey, y'all,
but seriously, I mean, and that might just be how I interpret that. But for me, my interpretation of that is an adulterous act. So for all willing parties, is it still considered adulterous?
Is it? Now
So
listen up.
Like
now, hold on. Wait a minute. Because I just want to bring this up, because since we're talking about this, and it's actually happened like a week ago, I just want to bring up, there is a man that married triplets, sisters, after they all proposed to him.
Hold on, what?
Now you're pushing it, okay? We done ran over an incest, all right? No, listen. What's up, Terry? What's up, homie? How you doing? My bad.
Well, hold on.
But no, real talk. No, listen. Right? Hey, Miss Linda. There we go. Always do them shout outs. Always do our shout outs. But this man actually marries triplets after the sisters proposed. Come on, give me the word. Polygamous union.
Wait.
No, it said it was 3 for 1 marriage deal.
I can't get past the triplets though, because like that's incest. Okay.
It's a 3-for-1 marriage
Hold on.
deal.
Hold on. Was he related to them?
He's not related to them. It's triplet
So how is that
sisters.
incest? Are they sleeping with each other together? Like the four of them together?
Listen.
That's
I
not
don't know how
incest.
you want. Listen. Wait a minute, Linda. Listen.
Yeah.
I don't know how you want to twist this up, but listen.
Let's get the
He almost
details.
ended by hearing the polygamy request. Request.
So if it's just polygamy, then it's a little different. It's not necessarily considered incest.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know what? And honestly and truthfully, that's about bloodlines. Because back in medieval times, that was about bloodlines.
That's true. They did do it.
And it's some people today. It's some people today that practice them bloodlines. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That practice bloodlines. You're absolutely right. But this is, the parents didn't understand or whatever. But yeah, he married.
The parents didn't understand because
how do you guys feel about that? How would you guys feel about that?
You out here bumping me and my two sisters. I mean, so I'm gonna tell you. So I've been in a situation where I dated somebody and then my sibling dated that same person, and then they actually ended up marrying that person. And that's weird to me. Like, no, that's weird. Like, I don't want to sit then. No, because then if I'm trying to tell my stories and then you in here like, girl, me too. No.
Like, stop it. I don't want you into my, that'll totally mess up all conversations. All the girly or female conversations that you would have, it all be cut. Like, yeah, I don't have those with you.
And then plus, there's in sexual relationships, these are things that occur between different people, right? So you may encounter somebody where you do all kinds of stuff with that person, but then they maybe your sibling is more conservative than you are, and they're not doing all of that. So then y'all get around there and y'all having sister chat and y'all talking about all this stuff, and then you like,
but I don't think in real polygamous relationships, I don't think they actually discuss the activities between the wives. I think he has his, if that's what it's about, if they have days of the week, like say there's 3 wives, so one day of the week, Sunday he keeps it, that's Saturday keeps it holy, right? But Monday he has one wife, Tuesday the next, Wednesday the next, and it alternates like that. I don't think that in between those times, I don't think that those wives talk about those sexual exchanges. Because I think it's more looked at like a contract than anything else. And it's like I said, in that instance, it's not about the sexual act. It's not about the sexual exchange. Even though sex is involved, that's not what that relationship is about.
Why are you looking like
that?
So,
I'm just saying. I don't think that they do. That's no different from people who you want to have a living girlfriend and all that type of stuff. What people don't realize is no different from polyamorous relationship, or you invite a girlfriend into your relationship. What people don't realize is those relationships require a lot more trust than a monogamous relationship does. There's a lot more communication. There are a lot more boundaries. While you think this is a free, open relationship, there are actually a lot more boundaries in those relationships than there is in a monogamous relationship. Monogamous relationship, the boundary is just simple. You just don't cheat. That it's the simple line. But when you decide to invite somebody else in, there are rules and levels to inviting other people in. There are things you can and cannot do with the other person. There are we can be together. We can enjoy them separately. There are a lot of rules around those type of relationships. So in that situation, I really don't think that they exchange those conversations, because I think it's more about a contract.
Right.
I understand that. And too, like some poly relationships, they don't interact at all. Generally, when you marry to more than one person, like you said, they have their certain days of the week. just like on the show, they generally don't interact at all. They're not all going out together, spending time together. He goes on his days with whoever he's with and fulfills his contract on those days with those people. Whereas in a polyamorous relationship, it's different, totally different.
When it's about sex, it is different. When it's just about sex, that's when jealousy comes into the picture.
Yeah. Well, you also have the ability, because you're not legally bound by contract or marriage to that person. So you have the ability to be more flexible when it comes to it. Like you said, you can choose to invite or not invite that person in. You could choose to do it separately or together. You can choose to go on group dates or not. I've heard it said, what do you think when it is just about sex? Is that just considered a threesome? If you're with someone and it's strictly meeting up and you three are having sex, do you consider that to be just a threesome, or would that be something that's considered to be a polyamorous relationship?
I think if it's done out of curiosity once, twice, you can probably chalk it up to that. But I think if it's habitual, if you're doing this on a regular basis, that's a lifestyle. And once it's a lifestyle, it's a poly lifestyle, whether you're accepting the terminology or not.
Whether it's the same person or not, whether it's more than one person or not.
Yeah, because I think so.
Poly for the night. Poly, olly for the night.
It's the lifestyle, even without all the legal terminology behind it. It's the concept of the lifestyle. It's what we think the lifestyle is, the definition of the lifestyle. You don't always have to have the family, because like you said, when it comes to polygamy, that's about marriage. That's about legal bindings to multiple people. But when it's not a polygamous relationship, I think there are a lot of things that fall into that category. And if you're a serial threesomer, then I think that is to me, that's a poly lifestyle, even without all the legal terminology behind it. You're accepting the terms of a poly lifestyle. So without accepting the agreement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I think that, so for me, I think that if you're just doing it with multiple people, then I don't know if I want to consider it a poly lifestyle. I just want to consider it that you're just having all these threesomes, because generally poly lifestyle means relationships with people, right? It's about
the poly relationship, yes, but a poly lifestyle. That's why I said lifestyle.
So,
because think about this. Most people think poly relationships, if most people think poly relationships are just about sex, then if you're having sex with multiple people all the time, what's the difference? That's why I said lifestyle.
They would probably consider that thotting.
See, that was my point. You could take that person that's willing to do the threesomes or just randomly sleep with people, just whatever. And that same person would frown on somebody that's engaging in a poly lifestyle. But what is the difference in what you're doing? You're just not living under the same roof. In all honesty, since we like to talk about community, in all honesty, I really think it would be better if we adopted the mentality and everything that came with it, as opposed to acting like we're not. So if there are multiple baby daddies, if the dad who has multiple baby mamas, if all his baby mamas lived in the house and all the kids within the house, instead of resources coming out of this house, now instead of us having divided resources, now we have collective resources. And everybody has an equal share in raising the kids. So the kids get the advantage of another thing. If you can only teach people what you know. So say you haven't had a lot of experiences in life. There are some things that you can't teach a child. Just a woman can't teach a boy to be a man can't teach a girl. Not to say that a woman can't raise a son, or a father can't raise a daughter. But there are some things that you can't teach them. There are some things that child won't be comfortable coming to you with. But I lost my doggone train of thought. I get off on these rants and I'll lose my train. I'll come back to it. Go ahead, Roxy. I'll come back to it.
No, I was gonna say that, but there are so statistically there are a lot of benefits to having
That's it.
poly
That's
relationships,
it.
and I think that's where
Yeah,
you were
the
going.
benefit. So to me, it would make more sense to have the collective resources instead of dividing resources, this household funding other households. What if all these households came together and we kept our resources together? We all took a part in raising it, the village mentality, for the best
Mm-hmm.
interest of the child. Because either way it goes, if you got multiple baby mamas or baby daddies, those children are missing out on something. And I'm not saying that you should just go run out and jump into a polygamous relationship. First of all, it's illegal in the United States. But in all honesty,
Right.
the frowning on it is what I have a problem with. And I think as a community, we might be better off if we kept our resources together in those situations as opposed to dividing them. But that's just me.
Hey, I want to give a shout out. Hey, Kimmy, how you doing? Hey, Yep, how you doing? Okay.
So yeah, I agree with you, D, for sure. Because they say that when you're in a poly relationship, especially one that has kids and you in a family like that, you know, you have that village mentality. It takes a village in order to be able to raise a child. It's easier on the family dynamic when there's more than one working person in the household, more than one person in the household is able to care for the kids in a certain kind of way. It's supposed to foster more love and a deeper sense of relationship when it comes to the family dynamic. But like you said before, there's that jealousy. So there's always that jealousy. You need extra communication and honesty and trust. And it's real hard to be in a relationship like that with somebody, especially if I think it maybe it's easier if you just come together all at once and you just meet and all of you meet together like that. But if you're in a preformed relationship with somebody and you and your partner been together for some years and then you decide like, hey, okay, we're going to go in and we're going to get this person and bring them into our relationship, it's hard on the family dynamic because first of all, you're already used to it being just you and that other person, right? So
But if there are outside kids, you can't have that thought process. Because even if it's you and that person, you can no longer view yourself as a nuclear family because there are other families that are either impacted by you remaining a nuclear family or your family is impacted by that outside family. Either way it goes, there's an impact.
Mm-hmm.
But most people
And
don't
we
think
believe
about
in the
that.
village mentality because child support says that if you didn't believe in village mentality, child support wouldn't exist. So we believe in the village mentality. We just
We
don't want
just
to
got to
live
do
it.
better on that village mentality.
Right.
Yeah, but I tell you, most people
Accepting
don't
all.
think about any of that. Okay. They think
That's
about
so
you
true.
say poly for one night, they gonna have fun and do whatever that is, and then you just continue to have fun. They don't think about all of the extra stuff that comes along with it, especially if you haven't ever been in a situation like that. You don't even know all of the extra stuff that comes along with being in a poly relationship. It's not easy to be able to build up honesty and trust in a person. It's like starting all over again with somebody new. And then you have to build that up with them. You have to build that up with the other person. You have to make sure that everybody's got the same interests at heart and nobody's trying to be funny with when it comes to the next person. Like it's a whole bunch of different things that go along with that make it tough. It's different if you just sleeping together. But when you try to build,
I'm sure it is. I mean, sleeping is sleeping. I mean,
But
get
see,
out. Go home.
but that's the thing though. Most women can't
Yeah,
separate
go
a
home.
sexual act from emotions. So the whole idea of just sleeping together can't necessarily coexist in a woman's mind because most women can't separate sex from emotions. So even if you're just running around, sleeping around, most women cannot separate that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are lots of exceptions out there. But if you're a female and you believe in love, which honestly and truth, if you practice serial monogamy, most of them believe in love and they just keep chasing
Mm-hmm.
love. That's why they end up in all those
Mm-hmm.
relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But 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 like I say, we're all living lifestyles that tend to poly relationships. We just don't want to accept the terms in those poly relationships. I'm sorry, that's just my standpoint on it. Because there are too many situations where you could say, okay, that's a poly type lifestyle or mentality or relationship or a belief. Like I said, child support. You believe in child support, you believe in the village mentality. That's a poly mentality.
Well, I ain't saying all that because I believe in the village. So I want everybody just to believe in the village and take care of the kids. Everybody be on
That's
the same
hold on.
team.
But what I'm saying is if you believe in that and you're dating people that have outside kids, what's the difference? What's the difference?
Is some people don't talk to their other half, like she said.
First of all, why is that acceptable? But that's another topic.
Right. Because
Hey,
I
mean, you gotta understand there's a lot of, what'd you say?
You're supposed to communicate in your relationship anyway, but I'm gonna tell you, being in a poly relationship helps you to be able to see a lot of different things that are in your relationship that may or may not be right. So it causes you to look at things differently. Because you have to have a certain level of commitment to that third party, right? That you bring it in. You have to bring yourself in order to be able to create that new bond with that new person. And then that means you take it away from something over here because you got to be able to make it balance somehow. You got to be able to make it balance. Otherwise, somebody going to be upset.
And that's why you just do the polyamorous and call it a day.
But see, that's now being somebody's girlfriend. That's not for everybody. Being somebody's girlfriend is not for everybody.
I'm just saying. I didn't say that, but I'm just saying if that's what you want to do and that's how you.
Yeah, that's not for everybody. Then you got to you got to be strong to be somebody else's girlfriend. Because there is a lot that actually comes with that. But like I said, even if it's not the whole idea that we're going to make this into a relationship, we're going to invite somebody in and allow them to play girlfriend to us, boyfriend to us, whatever that dynamic is, we still we get into situations where we're either not really ready for it and we're doing it because it's trendy, or we're doing it because we love somebody, or whatever that case may be. But even for those who don't want, even for those who engage in it for the sake of the relationship, for the sake of the other person that they're with, to just try something new, just because it's trendy, whatever, and those relationships don't work. But even in those, so those people are actively practicing that lifestyle. And even the ones who aren't actively practicing that lifestyle, they're still engaging in that lifestyle via their actions, because that person who's inviting the girlfriend in, so you're either doing it, most couples that are doing it for kicks and giggles, they're doing it for the threesome aspect. They always want to have something else there, right? A lot of them aren't doing it. A lot of them aren't moving this other person in. They just go out on dates. This is somebody that they know that they can take to the concert at the end of the night. We're going to have a good time. So a lot of them aren't necessarily having the relationship with a real relationship. They basically have a cut buddy that they share. There's a mutual cut buddy. That's what that is. If we can't go out on like real dates together, if we're not having real conversation together, there's no concept of us moving in together, you're not engaging in the real relationship, but you're engaging in the lifestyle without the contract commitment.
That's true.
Okay.
I was going to say that
again, we're living the lifestyles. We just don't want to call it what it is.
We doing more than living the lifestyle. We showing the lifestyles too. We got it on TV all the time. We got the Bachelorette TV, the Bachelorette shows and the Bachelor shows, and dating people, and now they about to be, the LGBTQ shows, and it's so many shows that they throwing that we've been doing, behind scenes. They're not on TV now. Everything's on TV. So yeah,
I'm glad you said that. Do you view shows like The Bachelor and all that kind of stuff? Do you view, so the whole concept of those shows is there's one suitor, whether male or female, that 20 some odd people are fighting for their attention. During this time period where they're, I guess, trimming down the numbers or weeding out the crowd, there's multiple kissing, multiple probably sexual interactions. do you consider that so all the women who go on the shows or all the men who go on the shows, are they practicing a poly lifestyle? But they don't want to call it that because they're chasing Prince Charming.
Yeah.
But to be on that show in itself, is that not engaging in a poly lifestyle? Looking for love.
Perspective.
I'm just saying.
All
I
about
mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it is. I mean, they're not all in bed together, and some of them might be all in bed together at a certain time.
But a lot of them are, because you're trying to win the heart.
Might be, but I'm saying a lot of them do their little single dating type of thing. So when they're doing their little single dating type of thing, you're thinking it's just, those two. But knowing what he did with you, he got to do something with someone else tomorrow, and he got to do something with someone else that's not you and that person another day. So, there's 3 different chicks right there.
I'm just saying we're all engaged and we just like to act like we're not. That's all I'm saying. It's a few of us that aren't, but for the most part, we're all engaged and we just don't want to act like we are.
Or we just don't want to call it that. People don't like to put labels on stuff anyway. We have a whole
girl, the only label they like is the alphabet label. That's the only label they cool with, is the alphabet label.
Listen,
that's like every payable label, Gucci this, Prada that. Y'all want all them labels, but not them brand labels, but not no actual title label.
No, because I don't relationships. No, you got people that's been dating for 20 and 30 years and still don't go together. Like
what, girl? Okay.
Like
y'all damn near y'all really married. Y'all like for real married.
Got 5 kids together at home, both of them going home, playing house, right? But nobody wants to claim that this is what we're actually doing because labels change the dynamic. Okay, in our minds, somewhere along the way, if you put a label on it, then that's what it is. And don't nobody want to be labeled as being poly. That's like, people don't want to have certain labels. You have people that stay in the closet forever because they don't want to be labeled as homosexual. Okay, but if you out here, if you're out here doing certain activities, like you said, D, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? But until you call it a label,
we just messing around.
Right.
That's it.
Right. We just messing around for 15, 20 years.
Yeah. And people do it all the time. And it's okay until you put the label on there.
Well, let me ask a question. Do you feel like people are born to be monogamous? Or not that they can't be, but do you feel like the majority of people are monogamous to their core? I mean, not monogamous, monogamous.
I'm going to tell you, so that kind of goes along with the conversation that we were having in the beginning. I kind of think that it's something that it was ingrained in us. We were trained to be poly from the beginning because they taught us to pick up more than one wife. So multiple women lived in family dynamics with men and had multiple kids here and there. And whether they lived together in the same household or they lived in separate households, it was something that was accepted. Somebody made a comment earlier about the Middle East and Africa, re-up. And they still practice it today, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the challenging things that we look at and we like, and we frown down upon are things that are still culture for some communities even today. Like, we wouldn't be okay with marrying our 12 or 13-year-old daughter off to somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
But not at all.
It happens every day over there. We not okay with cutting off our womanhoods or our manhoods or getting snipped as females, but it happens every day. So that's why I said it's all about the perspective and how you look at things as a person that helps you decide whether or not you feel like something is okay or not, or whether you agree with it or disagree with it, or feel like it's what it is when it really could be what it is. I mean, peanut butter and jelly is always peanut butter and jelly, but until you call it peanut butter and jelly, it's just bread with some stuff slapped in between it. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
I think that, well, especially like modern day and Western civilization, especially America, I think that we are taught to be monogamous. We're preached to monogamy, especially in young girls, because as young girls, we're raised up on the princess stories where Prince Charming is coming to save you. He's the first guy you ever meet. He's going to wish you away. You're going to live happily ever after. There's always that one. So I think we're taught monogamy in modern society, but I think that I think a lot of us have those poly spirits. I think that's why cheating is so prevalent. I think that's why hypergamy is in existence. Like I said, I think we're taught to be monogamous, but I don't think we're actually monogamous creatures.
Yeah. So we're taught that that's the right thing to do. Okay.
But we don't act like it.
And I think, like you said before, it's better if we just went on ahead and called it what it is. And if that's what we gonna do, then live that way and do that versus sneaking and creeping and cheating, because that'll get somebody hurt in real life.
It has in many different lives. It has in history. It has got many people messed up. So with that being said,
that's where mulattoes came from.
So,
I'm just saying that's where the mulattoes came from.
So I'm over here like this messed up. That's where half of my uncles and aunties came from. Okay,
plantations. Y'all so silly.
Yeah, but modern society, I believe we're taught to be monogamous, but I don't think we actually are. And I think that's why a lot of relationships end up the way they do, because as individuals, I don't think we feel like we're supposed to be tied down to one person. Even that's what we're taught, even though we think that that's spiritually right, emotionally right, psychologically. I think that our spirits are a little more adventurous than that, or that we're always chasing a high, or that it's something better, like the whole idea of hypergamy, chasing the next high, or the next better, a better option, the next step up.
Or just inquisitive. You just want to see what that's like. Want to see what that over there look like. Want to see
it doesn't matter why, but I believe that that's taught. I believe that I believe they ingrain monogamy in us, but that's not who we actually are.
Well, I've been noticing a lot of that. I mean, it's a lot of that. There's not, I'm sure you would know about the marriages, sis, especially when it comes to statistics. She's statisticals.
Hey, I don't know all the stats. I just know. I know some.
But normally, I'm sure there is a high rate of divorces, right?
Yeah.
High rate of divorces.
Yeah, 52%, I think. Or is that just the Black community? That might just be the Black community.
Okay.
Yeah, that might just be the Black community.
With that being said, I mean, that tells you right there, okay, is it just divorce because of something, what's going on to make these divorces what they are?
To be honest, I think a lot of that is hypergamy.
Yeah, yes. Not only that, some people just like to get into relationships, and it's great for the right now. So we get into relationships and jump in, and everything is great. We do all of this stuff at the beginning of the relationship because we like this person, but then you're comfortable with that person, and then you stop doing all of that stuff that you was doing before.
What?
Yeah, you stop doing all of that stuff. Some people get into it for the fluff of it. Some people get into.
You have the Brittany Renners of the world who got her check baby and on to the next one. Hypergamy. They got what they needed out of that relationship, so they're on to the next one. And I don't care what nobody says. Kim Kardashian has been marrying and leveling up her entire dating career.
She get it from her mama. My bad.
Hypergamy.
My bad. I'm under the weather today. So please.
Is that what you call this?
Yeah, I'm under the weather.
Okay.
So yeah, I think a lot of divorces, because think about this. If 70% of divorces are initiated by women, but women claim to be the ones that are so in love, they claim to be the ones trying to work it out. And I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what he did that caused you to want to go down to and get you an attorney and serve him with divorce papers. The person who initiates the divorce is the person who ended the relationship. I don't care what the reason is. If you initiated the divorce, you are the one who ended that relationship. So, and more women are ending marriages than men are ending marriages. And a lot of it is because they've gotten what they needed out of him. They're done with this social exchange and they're on to the next one.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, and she just got tired.
Yeah. Or the grass might have looked greener over on the other side.
Okay. You got your work husband. Yeah, you got your work husband who a little bit more high value than your current husband. And yeah, it's a lot of that hypergamy.
I'm gonna tell you though, I mean, I'm not taking it away, and I'm not, because I've been divorced. Not every relationship that you get into.
The numbers say that. Listen, the numbers say that.
I'm several statistics on the divorce list, okay? Period. Not every relationship that you get into is a good relationship. And part of that is our fault. Sometimes in relationships, we see what we want to see. You know how they say you overlook the bad things that are about a person when it's what you really want to do, So we overlook some stuff, and then that stuff starts surfacing after, you done been with somebody for a while, and then all of the warm and fuzzies then fell off. And then all you see is all of this negative stuff that was there all along in the beginning, but you didn't feel like you could overcome that. Oh, it's going to be fine. Oh, because I love them. And then when that's all that's left, you looking at them like, yeah, nah.
And I think those are the people those are the ones that practice serial monogamy, because they're into the high of fresh love, or they love the idea of love more than they actually love the person that they're with.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem is oftentimes those situations result in children. When they result in children, now we're talking about poly lifestyles again. I'm just saying. A lot of hold on, Anissa. How many children? I want to give you some homework. I want you to tell me how many children are born out of wedlock.
Too many. I got quite a few. It's like, nah, but too many.
I'm serious. Look at how many children are born out of wedlock.
I said quite a bit.
So oftentimes those relationships result in children.
I got what you're saying.
More often, unplanned, more often than not. Because typically you ain't planning kids unless you marry.
Yeah.
At least not as a consenting couple. There's single women planning kids. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's single women out here planning kids to catch these men. The men didn't even know that they was getting ready to have no kids.
What? Like, yes, right? They be racking them up. They be like, okay, I'm gonna get him, this type of money. Some of them be setting themselves up for the woo. Be like, oh yeah, I'm about to get him, and he ain't got nothing. You be like, oh yeah, you just got.
We were talking about
turkey basers out like, oh.
Listen, thank you, Kimmy.
80%. Okay.
So if you practice serial monogamy, some form of you is accepting the terms of a poly relationship. That's all I'm saying.
I got it.
You just haven't signed the contract, but you accepted the terms. Label it.
That part. I mean, all I'm saying is,
Yeah, they be plotting. Matter of fact, I was on another panel. I was watching another show today. Mr. Palmer, shout out to Mr. Palmer. And he was talking about that. They were actually doing a show where a woman had stolen some semen from a guy who had ejaculated into her mouth, and she had it artificially inseminated into her. Yeah, so yeah, they be plotting and planning. So yeah, single women be planning kids.
Wait, what? I thought
that's a whole nother show. We'll get off into that. That's another show.
You don't make me have some time for that.
That's another show.
Okay, but Les. Okay, so let's.
That's where we're gonna talk about that turkey baster thing, because y'all threw me with that. I'm like, I'm sorry, wait a minute. We use turkey basters to baste
That's a whole
turkey.
nother show.
That's a
Yeah, that's
Thanksgiving
a whole
thing.
nother show.
I'm in here looking in my cabinet at items like,
I don't want that.
Now, you know what? Okay, this comment right here. Hold on, this comment right here. See, that's another thing about the whole idea of people having kids and these outside that you don't have a relationship with. You got siblings out here that are meeting each other because y'all don't know that your daddy was a Rolling Stone and got all these other kids out here, or that your mama dropped one of your siblings off at your grandmama's house and she ain't been back to pick them up since. Now you 25 years old dating your 23-year-old sister or cousin, right? Because you don't know. Like I said, it'd be better if all those resources came into one household. All the siblings would know each other. That's all I'm saying.
There's people finding out that they got brothers and sisters like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. You right. Like, dang. Daddy died, then you hear about all this kids.
Because we practice those lifestyles, but we don't label it. So you got all these kids out here, all these other, because that's all polygamy is. It's multiple families, plural families, having multiple kids, multiple baby mamas and daddies. You live a polygamous lifestyle. You just ain't calling it that.
Like you said, hey, I need to know who your cousin, who your mama is, who your daddy, what's your last name? No, what's your mama last name?
I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of people, for real.
What's your mama last name? What's your Grammy name?
I was about to say, wait, it don't even matter the mom and daddy last name at this point, because you know they be having the last name of other people. It be step kids that's got the name of the step parent.
Right?
Really no, okay? Just let me swab your cheek.
Shut up! I'm doing swabs. I'm doing all swabs.
You got people who pass down maiden names. So if you got 3 generations of maiden name, everybody got their great grandmama last name. You don't know who daddy is.
That's right.
That's why I said, who your daddy? Who your uncle?
So the names don't matter.
It don't.
That's all right. I'm just gonna come to a big old family reunion. I don't want to date you. I just want to come to the family reunion. Let me see.
Let me see everybody. Trying to come get a plate.
Oh, yeah, so that's my point.
I'm cousin Niecy. Everybody got a cousin Niecy. I'm cousin Niecy. Let me get a plate. I'm cousin Niecy. Let me get a plate. What's up, fam? How y'all doing?
Listen, I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there though that would love to bring all of their baby mamas together up under one roof, stop paying child support, live all as one big happy family, or love, like Regina said, she polyandry, so you know that means she likes more than one man at a time. So I'm sure people like her would love to bring more than one baby daddy and put them all together.
Thank you, because I didn't know what that was. So thank you for that. I learned something new today. Appreciate that.
Because you know I'm a definition person, so you know I was going to hit them with the definition, but sis went ahead, but then we got so into the other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They would love to do it, but most people ain't gonna get along like that. People are out here upset just on the strength of the fact that you got more than I got. He got more than one baby mama, or that baby look better than my baby. I mean, it'd be silly stuff. Like, we do not come together as a people enough.
Like I said, it's because we were raised to believe in monogamy. So we hold on to that value, but that's not who we are as people. So anytime there's an act of infidelity, everybody's been so wrong.
Well, damn, more than one man.
I mean,
now hold up. Now that's the problem. Hold on. I see that as being a little problematic, because can you have 2 alpha males and can 2 alpha males exist in a house?
Unless one is very, very old. Listen, okay, now listen. I could say, yes, if one is very, very old, kind of senile, got a little dementia, little amnesia. Yeah, you can really
hold on. If that's the case, you ain't no alpha male. But no, seriously, can 2 alpha males?
He was an alpha male. He paid the bills. He do that. He just little, he's a little gone, a little old, He's still an alpha male. He's still the man of the household.
Okay, your definition of alpha male ain't the same as mine.
You gonna be like, no.
No, but seriously,
2 wangs gonna be up in here in my house.
No, not like that, crazy. I wasn't saying it like that.
Yeah, I really
another
like
wing up in here. Period. Okay, know that.
Right.
Now that's an interesting take. Monogamy equals genocide. Interesting.
You know what? I just think that
I would like to hear that. I would like to hear that argument.
I know, world class. You needed to come in so we could talk about this. We could just
Girl, put the link up. Put the link up. I would like to hear this argument. No, I'm serious. I would really love to hear this argument.
Because so it's perspective. It's perspective.
I wouldn't say it necessarily mean genocide, but to each his own. I don't get into like certain conversations because everybody got their own opinion, just like everybody got booties. So with that being said, hey, who am I to knock you for that? But I mean, in a certain way, you can.
I mean, but if we're supposed to replenish the earth, and think about this. A woman can only be pregnant once at one time, right? Now you can have twins or triplets or whatever, but you can be pregnant one time in a 9-month period. So typically once a year, a woman can get pregnant.
Right.
So a man could have multiple children at one time.
Yes, he can.
But I really would like to hear that argument, seriously.
I'm over here in the struggle, okay? Y'all know I am not the one for the savvy. I got the link, but I don't know how to send no direct message.
Oh Lord Jesus, it's okay. It's okay.
And I'm on the back side, so I can't pull it.
It's okay. It sounds like the next show gonna be about what? Monogamy.
Hold on, I might can go take it. Hold on, I might can get it.
Sound like my next chit chat might be a little bit of it.
Saying that.
Please don't do that.
Oh, she must be talking to her computer.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it, but my computer doesn't want me to. It won't let me grab it.
It was like no.
We're gonna have to address that another day.
That I keep saying
if
that.
I can't get it.
Animes.
Hold on, I might have it. We gonna see.
Let's go.
Oh, that didn't work.
In the meanwhile, I'm gonna tell you about different perspectives, okay? Because I feel like I'm probably a little biased because I wouldn't want more than one male in my house like that. I ain't taking all these orders, okay? I'm not taking all these orders. Girl, I'm too small to be taking all these orders like that. Okay, I can only deal with just this one. All right. However, I'm okay with having another wife. Somebody can come in here and cook dinner. 7 days is a lot.
Just cooking dinner.
Hello.
I'm just saying.
So you have an in-house?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, Roxy, I don't know if this works.
To each his own.
We're gonna try it. I don't know if that works.
Listen, I guess I can't deal with a maid,
I think it's in there. So world class, we would love to hear that perspective.
Not the maid.
I think I put the right link in the chat.
I don't know. You put that to the whole world, Craig.
But wait a minute. Not a maid, though. So you just saying all she can do is come in and cook and clean up. Does she got to be old with one eyeball?
What kind of relationship is that?
I didn't say I was having a relationship with nobody. I said I need a maid. That's what I said. You missed that whole. Come back. I ain't say none of that. Ain't no relationship.
That's why I'm over here. Like, does she got to be old with one eyeball? Because Niecy, like,
I
need a maid.
No sexual. It ain't got nothing to do with sex. Listen, cook, clean, do your job. Okay, my bad.
She got to be unattractive though, because like you don't want her walking around all cutesy in her little booty shorts and stuff, washing your dish. Ooh,
don't get.
Oh, I'm gonna be like, girl,
multiple providers is not. Hey, I agree with that. Multiple providers is not an issue, and I think most women would agree with that because that's what child support is. If you're married, you have a current husband in the house, but you have a child by somebody else who's paying child support. You have multiple incomes coming into that house, so saying. You believe. Hey, I'm just saying. I feel you on that.
All I'm saying is that's more shopping for me. All right. Okay.
That's not what child support's for, but okay, I got you.
Oh, I didn't hear you say child support. My
I'm about
bad.
to say,
No, that's why I
I
said
didn't
if
hear the
you're
child support part.
yeah, if you're
All I
married,
heard
if
was
you're
working
married,
more than one income.
no, if you're
Like,
married, no, what I said was if you're married and you have a child from another relationship and that child's father is paying child support, but you have a husband at home, you
Gotcha.
have multiple incomes coming into that home.
Okay, so that was my own selfish thinking. I thought that we had said we had more than one
So
person. In the
childish.
household. I'm over here like, yes, less bills, more shopping.
Bills for me. More shopping. Here. I'm passing out bills. I'm passing them out. Here. Your turn.
I was over here with it. Okay. What you said? Huh? Another car. What we buying? What we doing?
What I get?
I see that.
Somebody bring these groceries in the house. You know me. Bring these groceries in the house.
Yeah, I see that as a bonus. I don't look at it as a bad thing, but it's always a level or some sort of there's rules and regulations to everything. So, you know, what some people might like when it comes to poly relationships, other people might not like. So some people might want to be in a situation where they have a person that comes and they live in the house with them and they be with them all the time. Somebody else in a poly relationship might not want that. They might just want to go out and have fun and go on dates, live in separate houses, and then meet when they meet. Some people, like you said, may not want to necessarily get married to all of the people, but might want to just go out separately and go on different dates at different times with different people. I guess it just depends on what it is that you like and what it is that you all agree on in your own personal relationship. So, yeah.
Right. And again, got to be on the same page because ain't nothing like communication. Because if we don't communicate, somebody liable to get up.
Hey, real poly relationships don't exist without communication.
And ain't no sneaking. See, you know what? Now, I done known some people that swear up and down they in one of them type of relationships, but they cheating or I guess not following the rules. So
if you cheating, you ain't following the rules to begin with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is that like, you know what I'm saying?
What rules if you're cheating?
Look, wait.
Well, no, you're in the relationship. You three are in the relationship together. But I guess in that relationship, you're not supposed to go like there's rules to the relationship. And in the rules, you're not supposed to be courting or sleeping with the other one, not without the other one.
Yeah, and some people have different rules. Some people don't care. Some people is our girlfriend, and you could treat her like your girlfriend. I could treat her like our girlfriend. Yeah,
exactly.
So it's levels to it.
That's the forefront. But then you're turning around and saying, "Oh my gosh, you cheated on me
ready to
with
let
my girlfriend,
me
with our girlfriend. How can you cheat with
Roxy.
our girlfriend?"
How are you?
What's up?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So let's get off into this genocide topic.
Awesome. When we start?
Sure.
Go ahead. Tell us what your thoughts are.
First, good evening. Thank you.
Evening.
Love the show. Yeah, it's definitely genocide. You can start with. You can start anywhere. You can start with the actual genocide. Since this thing has been popular, this monogamy thing has been popular for the last 60 years. Just in our culture, Black females have murdered 23,560,000 children in abortion clinics. That by itself is genocide. That's King Leopold numbers. It's unprecedented. More of our people have died in the womb than been shot in the street. And the foundational household has been monogamy. When you talk to monogamous women and females and whatever they want to be this week, their foundation of why they're monogamous is that I'm selfish. I don't share. So if you're selfish, you're not a mother. You're not a girlfriend. You're not a wife. And what is it that you're not sharing again? Somebody else that don't belong to you? So what happens is on a day-to-day basis is I gotta undermine my mother. If I'm a woman trying to get a husband, I gotta undermine her because there can be only one, like Highlander. You have to undermine your sister. You have to undermine your household. It's genocide. It makes the people fight themselves. An organism at war with itself is dead. It's genocide. It doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. I had a conversation with somebody this week, actually last week, about this. She was speaking about how it's valuable. I said, okay, let's go back through history since 1492. When Christopher Columbus was sent here, and for the feminists, you might want to pay attention to this part. When Christopher Columbus was sent here by a light-skinned chick named Queen Isabella, that kicked off us being in this situation we call slavery. So from that time frame to now, we lost nationality, we lost our history, we lost our elders, we lost our money, we lost our title, we lost all of these things. We couldn't read, we couldn't write, we couldn't grow a family. We downgraded in every way, shape, or form. But I guess somehow through the magic of Disney, we upgraded in the relationship status.
In the magic of Disney. Never.
Right?
So the nuclear family is equivalent to genocide.
In facts. I said this. I see Letitia is missing. I said this before. You come here to this planet. Let's say you're lucky to have the 2 generations before you. You come here with about 14 parents. We all say it takes a village to raise a child. We say that. So how do you have, and it goes hand in hand, how do you have people walking around talking about I'm a single mother when she got a mother? Wouldn't you automatically have 2 mothers? Didn't the dude that you made a child with, don't he have a mother? Ain't that 3 mothers? Don't both them grandmothers got a mother? How'd you get to that? But when you want to be the only one, pretending it's monogamy, because they distinct things. I can get into what the word actually means in a second. But when you want to be the only woman, you end up being a single mother. Only and single kind of go together.
Yes,
it's all fake. It doesn't exist. It doesn't make any sense. We choose poverty. You're a single mother. You're a single parent. You're a single father when you start with 14. You're choosing to be less than what you already are. And what you want is you really don't want to be the only one. You want to keep somebody from somebody else. It's genocide. And the worst thing about genocide is that it's a bunch of people die. And a bunch of people that are dead with a pulse is the worst thing. Got a bunch of people that's dead inside because I'm selfish. They say it like an adult. I mean, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. I'm selfish. What the hell are you talking about? You think that's respectable? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we crazy. This genocide hasn't done nothing. It hasn't produced anything. And I've been telling the Super Kevin Samuel supporters, they big on the 1950s, the 2-parent household. I said, yeah, that failed. It doesn't work. It failed in 1950 because the 60s happened with the feminism and the this and the integration. It failed. It's not good enough. It doesn't make any sense. But everybody have this love affair with something that doesn't exist. They showed us TV shows and we had never, and I often link these 2 things together. You got radio and TV and then color TV and then the internet. And this stuff is like less than 100 years old if we really sit and think about it. And I don't think we understand what's happening to our brains. And that stuff, we have a fake reality in our minds that really doesn't exist. It never existed. We want this image of something that had nothing to do with us as we're coming out of whatever we want to call that we came out of in the end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, trying to get our stuff together. And they sold us a new bill of goods and made us pay when they actually owed us. And we want to buy into a game plan that don't make any sense. Now we desperate for an image that has nothing to do with our vision. So in 20, like I like Letitia agreed with me when we was on I think Gail. $1 million. $1 million itself is just middle class money.
Mm-hmm.
Is you're not rich. All it is $50,000 in passive income for a competent, responsible person who understands how money works and what money actually is. So if you're doing that, if you understand that, what difference does it make what type of relationship we have? We got to get to $1 million just so we can get out this bullshit with these white people that hate us. So when you every way, shape, or form, when it comes to food, when it comes to money, when it comes to protection, if I'm a mother, I know a dude. I'm 5'11", 150 pounds. Most mothers don't want me banging on their door trying to come through because it's a doubt if you can keep your children safe from me. And I'm only 5'11", and this dude's just 6'8". Why would you have the child with you anyway? Why? Why would you have him with you? I'm dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Why is the mentality to be a single mother and have the child with you? And you single, most of us are single and we don't have our parents because the mom found out child support, the custody. The mom found out she's not good enough to be the only one. It's genocide. It ain't because he ain't want to be a daddy. He ain't want to listen to your bullshit. While you try to do a bunch of shit to trick him into thinking that it's just so much to you. Like we dumb. We're not stupid. We never were and we never will be. You doing a lot of shit to play the fantasy that you're good enough to be the only one by being a nuisance. I don't know why they think that makes sense, but it don't work. And it doesn't help anybody. Men, all of us. Like, again, you've had custody for us 80 to 92% over the last 60 years. You've raised these boys. They still want to be with more than one woman. When do y'all stop? Most of these dudes don't want to be with hundreds of chicks. We want to be with 2 or 3 that we love, and that's it. We have an ability to love better than you. Accept it and move on. Y'all can love singularly more than most of you, not all of you. Probably like 10% of you can. We're not designed like that. And it's never going to change. So if your chick want to destroy somebody else, destroy her. I think in my mind, you got to love me the way I want you to love me, or I'm going to fuck up your shit. I'm going to mess up your car. I'm going to destroy the relationship between you and your child.
Absolutely.
But I think that goes back to, like I said, I think the bigger problem is that girls are raised on the fairy tale mentality. We're raised on the Cinderella stories. So we grow up thinking that there's one guy that's going to come to save us and we're going to be happily ever after. And it's a false sense of reality. It's a false sense of what dating is actually like. And when the first guy you date, when that relationship doesn't work out, it chips away at that fantasy that we've built up for 20, 30 plus years. And then the next relationship comes along and that one doesn't work out. So then it chips further away at that fantasy. So now we've built up this bitterness and this hate for one another. So we can't accept that lifestyle. Like I said, I don't think it's who we are innately. I think it's because we were taught to be monogamous, but I don't think that's who we really are.
I think monogamy comes from slave breeding. It's not something that we would naturally do. For a woman, for it to be 2 million more of our women than it is men in 2022, you basically saying fuck her. You saying fuck your sisters, but then don't talk about black females. Like, you don't want to be labeled, but you don't give a fuck about them people that you don't want to be labeled because you don't want her to have a husband,
right?
Because when it come down to it, you'll stab her in the back. You see, if you just sit and think about it, just fundamentally, if you were an alien that came to this planet, a mom and a daughter have to go to war. If the mom's single, they got to fight over that one nigga.
Yeah,
that's why the relationship's bad. I've had so many pretty women in my face telling me that their mom sold their vagina or their mother beat them out because she told her that the mom's boyfriend tried to get at her. Like, that's just a normal thing, but it comes from this monogamous thing. Obviously, nobody should be messing with a mom and a daughter. That's crazy.
Agreed.
That doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form. I've never done that in my life. I do say that I'm like, yo, bro, you wild. You even outside of It doesn't even
Wow.
make sense.
Yeah, you be whoa.
Wow.
You was wow,
Too
wow.
much.
Boy,
We
who
go
raised
nowhere
you
strong.
like that?
So I just think it produces. If you look at our criminal history over the last 60 years, the foundation of our household has been monogamy. It is producing these horrible people. Got a chick that, like, you talk to women about it, and they like, treating me right is me being the only one. I'm like, you don't care how nobody talk to you? Like, they don't have to have a plan?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Kevin Samuels been getting his talking points from, because we've been having this conversation, being honest and upfront with women. Like, yeah, I'm not monogamous. We ain't doing it. Oh, well, if you for another woman, you gonna need to have this and have this and have this. And we like, hey, hold on. What was the financial standards for monogamy? Because I've been watching y'all. Y'all don't have no financial standards. No financial standards for the monogamy part. What you bringing to the table? And that's where they got it from. They got it from us. Having that conversation about what did you bring to the table, to where all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm supposed to have all this shit. When I just watched you fuck the nigga over there for nothing. What you talking to me for? So I owe you more because I'm honest? Oh, that's some crazy shit. That's crazy. It don't make any sense to me.
Right. But those same women that be sharing baby daddies, those same women that have a baby father that has multiple baby mamas.
Baby
So
mama.
like I said, we practice that
And
lifestyle.
know about it.
But for some
you
reason,
number 8, number 7,
right.
number 11. You know
right.
he got all these kids, and you steady with him, knowing that you ain't even the only one that's with him, because he already got 2 more. So
right.
One, you setting yourself up. But hey, you do how you feel.
Y'all said it. We do it anyway. We just want to keep the lie going. We do it anyway. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's like we literally for a fact do polygamy, do polygyny, do polyamory. That's what we've been doing. Why keep lying about it? It doesn't make any sense.
Because of the label. Because of the label. Don't nobody want to be labeled as doing none of that. It's
you
just
want that warning.
People don't call it what it is. People are not real with themselves. So
True.
In turn, if I'm not real with myself, I can't be real with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. That's a fact. We don't have a real history. We don't have a real identity. We don't have real relationships. It's fake. Like monogamy, mono and monogamy means small. It means to isolate. It means one. Gamy means to marry. Do you know what marry means? It means to give offspring. Monogamy means to marry once in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So monogamy means to marry, which means have a child with one person once your whole life. You got chicks with 2 different baby daddies, 3 different baby daddies, not a virgin. So it's really just for virgins.
And you know what? By the numbers, you're right. That would be genocide, because if every 2 people only made one person,
that's it.
It's simple. It's not even kind of complicated. It's extremely simple. It's just like, so somebody, a super genius came up with this a long time ago. Watch us coming out. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna hit them with that. Keep them. See the beautiful part.
I'm not going to say that. Super genius. Bam. Hit them with that.
Kill them with it.
Got you.
Kill them real quick.
They don't know how to read. They haven't ran a nation in hundreds of years. They don't know where they come from. They'll go for anything. They don't know nothing. That's genius. I give them credit. It's smart. I did it if I was them. I can't be mad at it. But
all right, now I hear Sankofa. Wait a minute. I done had Sankofa burning in my ears. Y'all better wake up. Sankofa. Woo. Return to your roots. Check it out. Check your history out.
I appreciate that feedback. That was some good feedback. But yeah, I totally agree. If you think about what the numbers mean, that is equivalent to genocide long term. Slow genocide. I agree.
If I want to be a dad, all right, and I want 3 children, I might as well have them in the next 3 months with 3 different women, and I don't have to do it again. I'm doing the same shit over and over again, cookie cut, and I'm done. Why wait 3 years? You go,
because you gotta look at them 3 women you talking about having kids with, though. See,
you gotta get them all at one time. I don't want to stretch it all over.
He said, I'm gonna get you all at once. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Hey. Listen, let's get together. Let's have this meeting. Let's eat. Let's talk about it. Okay, I got you pregnant, you pregnant, you pregnant.
Wait.
Let's work it out.
What if 2 out of the 3 is trash though? Like, wait.
Hey, you already took what you already got what you got. Just work it out, right?
But you know what's missing from the conversation about relationship, which is extremely disrespectful. I said in the beginning. It's fucking your marriage, even in polygamy, it's not about you and her. It's about the family.
Right.
Y'all are the least important in the family. You're the least important. Y'all gonna be whatever. These people don't know these people. These people not gonna be none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's about each. If it's 2 women, 1 man, that's 3 different families. It's a lot of people. It's not about y'all asses. It's about everybody else.
Right.
Then it's about what are you bringing them children to do what? It's about that part. It ain't about y'all and y'all little feelings. Stop what marriage is about.
Right.
It's about my feelings.
Yeah, a marriage is a contract. And that's another thing. People don't look at marriage like a contract, but a marriage is not just figuratively, but it's literally a contract. Literally a contract.
Absolutely.
A marriage is a marriage is having children, having a child. What do we call a marriage? A coming together of 2 people. That is verbatim what a child is. That's specifically what a child is. And we bring in this child here to do what? Like, I love when people talk about politics, because I'm like, okay, you're going to vote for who? Democrat or Republican? Who gives a shit? You vote for the person you groom for the position.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm like, man, I'm the only person on the planet. I have no idea.
But you know what? That goes back to labels. So the labels we cool with, like, you want it, you're a Democrat, you're labeled as a Democrat. So when anyone asks you that question, oh, I'm voting Democrat, and everybody that you associate with, or every Black person you run into, is supposed to vote Democrat. So we cool with the labels that damage us. We're not cool with the labels that could potentially uplift us. And I always talk about community. And even though polygamy is illegal in the United States, in all honesty, it would actually be better if we brought all those relationships together in one household and kept those resources in that household, as opposed to divvying them up.
Polygamy is legal in your own religion because you got a right to religion.
Is that what Utah allows and doesn't allow, but they allow? Because I think there was one case I think it was Utah, where they had a case where a judge ruled that it was unconstitutional to say who somebody could or couldn't, or how many people they could marry, but they kept the law in place that says that polygamy is illegal.
I don't know about Utah. I understand law a little bit better than that.
Everything is circumstantial.
It's a word for that in law. It's called jurisdiction. It's about jurisdiction. It's personam, territorial, and subject matter, or adjudication jurisdiction. And that once you have all 3, then you can make that decision. If I step out on the personam and I'm not being a ward of the state, or I can handle my own private affairs, which is your religion, which are all these things that come up in law, the Quran, the Bible already have these things decided already, and the unrebutted facts, so they can't be challenged. So you go to the Bible is pro polygamy and polygyny. I already know the Quran is, so you don't have to deal with that. But it's called the ecclesiastical jurisdiction. So that's something to research and look up if you want to do things in a certain way. But you're going to need, because they're going to keep trying to poison us some more. And I've been telling people, you watch people say, "Oh, I don't got a religion, I'm a Christian." You better get your ass in a religion. Because the only thing that could stop them from putting that poison in your arm was religion.
You right about that. You right about that.
Religion is money. I don't know why people keep forgetting that. But when you go through I tell people this. The Bible is like Google 2,000 years ago. They put a bunch of information together. It wasn't the stupid pastor and the music and all this. It had nothing to do with that. It was just a bunch of information brought together by a lot of smart people over a long period of time. That's why people fought over it. It gave genealogy. It gave structure. And every royal Every royal is connected to a religion. Every single royal on the planet. So I'm king and I'm a queen. You have to go through religion. That's why I can easily, without a shot of a doubt, right? That's why I can. If you go, well, what about the indigenous cultures? They have a religion. It may not be the major ones. They have a religion. Their tribe, their culture, it may be one and the same. Some people, their nationality is their religion. Some people, their customs is their religion. It's just specific. But all royals have a religion. So for you to walk around saying I'm a king and a queen, and I don't believe in you look crazy. And then they can tell you what you can do with your vagina, and they can tell you what you can do with your penis and with your child. So that's why they won't stop you from killing 23,560,000 children, because you belong to them. You their property. They don't want their children to compete. They don't want our children to compete with their children. They don't want our people on level playing field.
Not at all.
Right.
You look at feminism. You look at feminism. You look at what's going, the beef between men and women. It's by design. Somebody does not want you. A man created that. Somebody don't want you to compete with their children. And that's it. It's just that simple. So they want less of your children. I don't want your children to compete with my children, and I want less of your children. That's all it is. It's that simple. All war is about killing children. 100% of them.
Hey, y'all know what I always say. Children are always the ultimate victims in every situation.
That's what you always say.
Every situation, the children are the ultimate victims all the time.
Leave my babies alone.
That's it. So, monogamy is genocide. Monogamy is a gateway to homosexuality, because you got a woman that don't want you to like women. You want to claim that you hate women. You don't want me to like women.
If y'all can only see my face, though, my bad.
I wasn't expecting that one. But hey, but you're right. But you know what? I never understood that concept of that only have eyes for me. First of all, I don't even want to be with a guy that other people don't find attractive. That's first of all. So the idea that you can say he only has eyes for me is so delusional, and I've never understood that. You can be in a committed relationship. It doesn't mean that he doesn't see. It doesn't mean that he doesn't feel. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that a spark might not happen, because we're human. So that I've always hated that mentality, that only eyes for me thing. And you're right. That goes back to being selfish.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you're an adult, granted, you want to limit the stress that's put on your mind as a woman. It's a lot of women out here. It's not that many men, then it's not that many good men, and it's not that many attractive good men. I get it, but lying's not going to fix that, and being delusional is not going to help you. Because at the end of the day,
as women, we look. So how can you expect the man not to? All of my girlfriends are meat gazers. Every last one of them.
Why they meat? Okay.
I'm just saying. All of your girlfriends are meat gazers. All of what's the main reason why women love fall? Sweatpants season.
Yeah.
So if we look, why do you expect him not to?
Listen.
No idea. It's weird.
No, because me and my honey gonna walk down the street together. Babe, look at that.
Fact. Say it all like, oh, look at that. You see that booty?
Hey.
Lord, you see all them biddies up there? About to choke her back. You see that?
Yeah, so it's definitely the double standards for me. That was my whole point in the beginning. Whether you want to accept that lifestyle or not, it's the fact that we literally engage in poly lifestyles, but you want to criticize people who are actually living poly lifestyle, and it's crazy to me. So it's the double standards for me.
You have to expect, at the end of the day, I tell dudes that like if we meet, if a dude is already in a monogamous relationship, or I'm gonna say monogamous commitment, and we having this conversation where it's like, yeah, we really poly. I'm like, okay, that's great. Didn't you tell that lady that's what you was gonna do? All right, well, you need to take your ass and follow through on that. Because you gotta be. If you're not gonna be around me, giving your word and then not following through, or
Period,
you know,
'cause that's
sneaking
all
around. I don't want
for
that.
real.
I'm good. So it's like it's about when you it's no thing of don't be a man and don't follow through on your word. As a man, you got to follow through on your word. You gave her your word, you give her your word. Granted, a men can lose their minds and everybody has that, you know, that propensity to overindulge, but you have to expect an adult to follow through on the contract that they sign up for and they agree with. And when you can't hold your end, open your mouth and take your ass where the hell you're supposed to take your ass and be a man. I don't understand. It's weird to me. I'm not about to I don't have no conversation with other people about my shit. I don't know how to do that. Nah. So whatever we talked about, that's where we at. And if that can't happen, then I'll let you know, look, we can't do that. But I'm not about to explain to you what I'm gonna do much. You better go ahead. I don't have a vagina. I've never washed a vagina a day in my life. You can throw that, this is your vagina, you can throw that motherfucker against the wall. It's yours. I'm not gonna ask about it. That's it. It's just we gotta be responsible and follow through on what we say. I don't know. I don't be kidding. I just be mean.
Most people ain't honest like that, though. Most people ain't honest like that. We've been taught that you can't be honest like that in no relationship. Otherwise, you will lose that relationship. So that's part of that.
It's about what you said, Roxy. Them feelings.
Yeah, them feelings.
Them feelings. That's the worst.
I hate my feelings.
Them dumb feelings.
And you know what? I think a part of that is, you remember, Roxy, we did a show a while back with I can't remember her name, life coach though, and she brought up a point that oftentimes we are taught to shy away from our sexual beings. You know, we're taught that you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Families don't want to talk about sex. So I think that's a big part of it as well. And I think that's another reason why we associate that whole poly lifestyle to sexual acts, because the poly lifestyle in itself is what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily talked about. It's kind of frowned upon.
Taboo.
All that.
Taboo.
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 Yeah, taboo. So, and
Yeah.
also, so if you look at that as taboo, and we were raised to where you don't necessarily talk about sex, we don't have real conversations with our kids about that and everything that's entailed. Because sex is not just a physical act, and I really wish people would get out of that. There is a mental, there is a spiritual, there is an exchange in sex. It is not just a physical act. But when we're raised to shy away from those conversations, I think that's a part of why we kind of tie those together, because they're all looked at as taboo.
Absolutely.
So when we jump out there and we live those taboo lifestyles, we don't want to be sucked into the labels, because we don't want the taboo label to be associated to us. But it's all in how we're raised.
You still feel a certain kind of way, though. Those emotions are still tied. Like
Right.
you said, a lot of us as women can't get past the emotional part to begin with. That's the reason why we be upset about our man and sleeping with somebody else, and we don't what we want.
Hold on. I don't understand that either, because most women would agree that men cheat physically, women cheat emotionally. So how can you not be okay with the physical act that he committed, that is, there's no emotional attachment, but you have literally emotionally detached from somebody? Somebody made a comment that when women cheat, they do it because they have detached emotionally. And I think that's bullshit, because if that's the reason, if the reason is emotional detachment, then the proper thing to do is to leave that relationship, not go have an act of infidelity, not go cheating. That's the response to, if that's how you feel, that's how you respond to that. So if there's an emotional detachment, so how can women criticize men for the physical act of cheating, but they don't see anything wrong with the mental aspect of cheating?
Ooh, mental is worse. You didn't gave your mental to somebody. That's worse than you giving your physical, because men can have sex with multiple people and not think twice about it. Like, sex is just sex. You know what I mean? But I think that's why they say when women cheat, it's worse, because women are emotional creatures. So in order for a woman to cheat on you, a man, it's easy for a man to just go out and have sex with somebody. But generally women, when they cheat, they didn't put some kind of emotion into it. They didn't thought about this person. They just started actually liking them and started feeling some kind of way about them. You know, they thinking about them at night. Men don't do that.
Right.
They just be like, damn, she got a fat ass, I'm about to stick something in it.
Move on.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It ain't more complicated than that. You look good, and that's it.
Yeah, so I don't understand how women can be so criticizing of men when our version of cheating is so much more damaging than their version of cheating.
Women don't see it. I'm sorry. Females don't see it that way.
Women are delusional.
No, wait a minute. I didn't say women. I didn't say ladies. I said females. Not all females see it that way.
I agree with that.
Some, like we said, they run from labels. Being a lady is like a label. Being a woman, that's a label. They run in. That's why you said, what is it called? Thought. I'm gonna get that word right. But
thoughts.
Yeah, being those, being dumpsters.
Hey, we're not getting into the dumpster. We're not getting into the dumpster.
I didn't say the other piece. I just said being a dumpster or a mattress. Okay.
You love saying that.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to take them labels though. But you'll do them activities.
Right.
Something for nothing.
You know.
And I'd rather be in a poly relationship than engaging in some of the activities they engage in.
Right.
But but that's just my thing. Let's cut out all the double standards and call it for what it is. Be honest about who you are. Be honest about what it is you're looking for, what it is that you want. And we've got to start looking at the Black community like a community, and we've got to start making decisions for the community and not for ourselves.
That's real.
I agree. I agree.
But we selfish human beings. So it's always all about self and what I want and what's best for me. And nobody.
That's what was wrong with slavery.
Yeah. That's true.
I think the problem is a little worse. I don't think it's the double standards. I think it's no standards. I don't think I think we pseudo selfish. We don't know who we are. We don't have a identity. It's crazy. The word identity, right? Like we say, I'm different. I'm special. I'm unique. I ain't like these other bitches. That's what we say. But the word identity means sameness. The exact opposite of what we value. We really just out here just doing anything. We don't know what monogamy means. We don't even know what the word Black means. The word Black actually means pale. The word Black means pale. We clearly brown. We don't give a fuck about anything important. We are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. The first thing we done filled out every time we go fill out an application, the first part is our identity. And we couldn't give a shit. We don't even care. I could share a video where this Egyptian, a YouTube video, this Egyptian is fighting to be Black because his ID say white. Egyptian from Africa. We don't care about anything that's important. I watched this chick correct her child. The child said, I'm brown. The woman made the baby say that they Black.
No, I'm brown.
Back in 1940, if you call one of us Black, we fight.
I'm brown.
We would fight. It's like 40 years from now, 50 years from now, we'll see our babies calling each other a bitch. Oh no, I'm a bitch. I'm a proud bitch. It's like what? What you talking about? It's an insult.
Or a boss bitch, the baddest bitch. Right.
I just saying the great grandmothers, our great grandmothers. You a boss?
Like I said, the wrong labels. We love the wrong labels.
My grandmother. I was lucky enough to have a great grandmother. If she would see she'd have hit you with the shoe before you finish saying it. What you mean you're a boss bitch? If anybody a boss bitch is me, that's what she's fucking. So man, we gotta go back to the beginning. Nobody wants to because everybody trying to get to some shit you seen on TV. But we're good at acquiring and having anything but us. We're never good enough. I gotta have the blonde hair gay guy. I gotta have the Rolls Royce. I laugh at niggas saying that get on each other about not having a homosexual Italian's name on his ass. Like you gonna talk shit about the other dude because he don't have a homosexual Italian's name on his ass like you do, and neither one of y'all names mean shit to anybody. The fuck is wrong with you? The fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all crazy? Y'all niggas is retarded.
Hey, that's gonna be another show, Rox. I want to do one on the term African American. We're gonna have to break that down.
I hate
We're
that.
gonna have to break that down.
I can't stand it. I hate that damn term.
I hate African American. Hate it with a passion.
I can't stand it. Jesse
I do
Jackson
not
came up with it.
identify as an African American.
Yeah, Jesse
But yeah,
Jackson.
I agree. I agree.
I'm not black. I'm brown.
Out here hitting the other button.
Then even when you start there, right? Who else got to identify themselves by their skin tone? Because we got people that's light skinned, we got people that's dark, we got people that's in the middle, we got albinos. So we got people in China who they pale and then they dark and then they in between, and then you got people in Africa the same. They got light skinned people in Africa too. You got people in Europe.
The Aborigines.
Why we don't like to talk about me, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you, if they passing out some money and it's on a grant application, then I'm checking off the black minority, all of the ones.
All right, Kamala Harris only been black 2 times in her life. You know, Kamala ain't checked that black box 2 times in her life.
They said we reserving these for black minorities, LGBTQA. I'm all of the above. How much?
All the above. All of them. Let me collect it. I'm all of them.
All of them. What's your nationality? ALLUM. ALLUM. I'm all of them.
All of them.
Right.
All I'm telling you, they be asking. Let me get that. Thank you.
Right.
I'm gonna go back to my regularly scheduled programming after they deposit the check.
But yeah, we'll break that down on another show.
So how would you guys
we'll definitely break that down?
Yourself, because I didn't hear you don't like African American, and of course nobody likes being called black, because especially if they used to get, teased a lot. What's specific?
You could, without making it too hard of a conversation or difficult of a conversation, you can easily just call yourself indigenous or autochthonous. You are indigenous. You may not know what landmass. You know it's 2 of them. So you're Africa, America, or both. You're indigenous.
Right. Just check the other box, Denisa. Just check the other box, unless it's a grant application like me, okay?
I'm checking all.
You can look up something called rights of indigenous people. That would apply to you. You can be in the human rights aspect and stop dealing with stupid civil rights, which is just commercial and under 14th Amendment, which is just for corporations. Right. All of this stuff, like I don't get upset when I see, they put up a thing for the Chinese people and they got the protection for the gay people. That's only under the 14th Amendment under a corporation through commerce. It's just a commercial insurance policy. It's not nothing outside of that. It's just commerce. It's just consumer. It's not what people think it is. It's not that intense. It's just we've been bonded down to a consumer experience. We've been bonded, which is what monogamy is. It's just a consumer experience. People are just consumers. Like the average person is a consumer. And what's crazy is both of those words mean the same thing. Average and consumer. Average means a loss incurred in transaction. Consumer means a person who wastes the value of something by using it. Most people think consuming means to eat. People only have a consumer mentality. People only think about what I can get, what it look like, what I can feel all day. That's what they sell you. Then people like me who get the training, we taught to discard feelings. People make emotional decisions to make purchases, not logical ones. Yeah. Once you get behind the curtain, it's fuck them feelings. When you go study success, anybody that's been successful, fuck them feelings. They'll keep telling the TV the feelings and emotions, and they'll keep selling that shit and then saying the crazy shit. Women are emotional creatures. You look at any religion that where they have a God, where the fuck do you see what God made you out of emotions?
Right. But you're right though. You're right though about that consumerism and all that. What they saw on TV. Y'all better go read propaganda.
Miguel, I have an
it'll change the way you view your life.
It was an emotional reel.
Miguel, I got something that comes once a month, and she come bother me. So this is why I got emotions, sir. Okay.
Emotion means to agitate, to stir up, to remove. It doesn't mean happiness, love, and joy.
What I say? She come once a month to do that. Is you not listening, Linda? She come once a month and she do that. Like, wake up, you know. She come with pain and everything. It's like, listen, right?
You know they used to isolate y'all back in the day, right? When you was on the cycle. They used to put y'all to
I'll be one.
Because the struggle,
I'll be one. Like, oh my God, can y'all feel it? I can feel it. Somebody help me. I'm just saying, my bad. Go ahead. My bad, bro.
No, I get you. But again, it goes to identity. If I say I'm an emotional creature, then that makes it okay for me to show my ass.
Yeah.
It's not.
Absolutely.
Oh. Right. But it's not.
But if you like feelings, feelings, the root word of feelings is feel. Feel means to touch. As you're touching something, that's feeling. You do that more than once, that's feelings. Has nothing to do with what y'all talking about. Emotion has nothing to do with what you're talking about. What that stuff actually is, I'm gonna put on my channel a little later so people can understand what it really is. It goes to what Dallas was talking about. It's more going on. Like life is sex. Life is sex. Everything is sex. It's more going on than what you think. And when you understand that it's deeper than rap, when you understand how far that stuff goes, where two things I'll share is 100% of the feelings you've ever had is always exiting. You 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. You've been here this long. Why are you letting a feeling that just came today, or the 12 that you're going to have when you have your cycle, why are you going to let it make a decision when you're going to be here the next decade? Or you was just here a decade ago? You're going to have to let a feeling come in and make a decision for your life. It wasn't even here yesterday. You got children, you got little cousins, you got nieces and nephews. They can't make a decision for you, and they 10 and 12. But this feeling that just came today can make a decision for your life. Does that make sense?
Damn. Oh, my bad. Yes, sir. You right.
So to tell you, if they keep telling you it goes with this again. It's the same. It's the same level of weirdness, like a holiday. You like Mother's Day. It's good for you. You like Mother's Day so much you'll waste 364 days to do it again the next year. Oh, you really like Mother's Day? You like it? You know what? I like eating that red lobster. I'm gonna eat here again in 3 years. Why wouldn't you do it every day? You see, until you think about it.
On Mother's Day, we're going to Red Lobster, though.
Just on Mother's Day. You
just can go to Red Lobster. Mother's Day.
Any day, every day.
You know what? It's only over 365.
I'm gonna do it.
Why would you wait? Why would you wait? Why would you? Red Lobster can't be worth 364 days. Why wouldn't you do it every day? Why wouldn't lunchtime be Mother's Day? We don't even realize how small we think.
I agree.
We don't know what you don't know, Miguel. We don't know what we don't know.
That's fine. Just like the babies. I don't do that. And then they go, okay. They don't have a clue what you're talking about. But they just know you were scolded, and then over time, you got to keep hearing it. They don't get it. We don't learn no different. When we get 13, they don't unscrew our head and then take our brain out and put a new one in. It's the same thing. We learn the same way. So it takes time, and it's okay. We're going to get a little feelings hurt, but we'll get better. That's all. You
so drop that sauce on where that chat is, where your channel is at, so the other people can come and support you, sir.
Oh, the world class. That's all. They probably freaking
on YouTube.
Y'all appreciate if y'all appreciate Noble's knowledge, go check out his page, The World Class. We appreciate you coming on the show and sharing that insight. Much appreciated.
Every time I see y'all on, I hop on. I'm working on this video called The Law of Diminishing Intent. I got 2 videos on universal law. I'm gonna do 12. I'm gonna do that's about everyone I know about, and so people can have for free what I paid for, that the average person will never get their hands on, and help people with stuff like this. Law of attraction and repulsion. Law of attraction is not real. It's law of attraction and repulsion. You got the left arm, you got the right arm. It's not just one side. And it's laws you got to know that's senior to that law, and laws that the law of attraction and repulsion is senior to that you got to use, that you got to know to be able to use it properly. It's not about feelings, it's about thinking. And killing that bullshit that intuition is emotional. It's not. It's mental. You are a mental being. God made man. Man means male and female. You are a thought being. You are not an emotional creature. You never were and you never will be. Man, the word man means thought. The plural men, men, means to think. That's why it's the root word for the word mental. You are a thought creature. That's it. You are literally, every single one of us is literally a thought. Your daddy send your mommy like, I'm going to tear her ass up. And that's where the fuck we come from.
You're right, though. You're right.
That's literally where we come from.
Planned or unplanned.
Facts.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was real.
Right. But you know what, though? I appreciate you saying that, too, because that's one thing that we always talk about on the show is about building the Black community and each one teach one. If you have some knowledge that someone else doesn't have, share it. We've got to start having these conversations in the Black community. We've got to start holding each other accountable. We've got to start lifting each other up. And we have got to understand the definition of unity. So we appreciate you sharing the knowledge with us today. Appreciate that. Much love.
Appreciate y'all having me up. I share one thing before I jump out, I'm just quoting Shahrazad Ali. She said it in Hidden Colors, and it just reframed my brain. She said, "We come from the people that invented thinking."
Amen. Yes, we did.
Period.
That was it. That changed my life when I heard that.
Yes,
I know.
Say that again. Yes, we did.
Period.
Appreciate it.
I like it.
Go ahead and jump off. Get out of here. I'm gonna took over your live. I'm gonna get up.
No such thing. We appreciate all that sauce, and sharing is caring. So please come again.
Appreciate it.
And it's always good to have a male perspective on an all-female panel. So appreciate it.
Sure.
Whenever you need me, just holler.
For sure.
Peace.
I mean, yeah. So with that being said, Miguel getting ready to head out, and we are too. We appreciate you guys for coming out and listening to our podcast and sharing juice and just coming together, spreading knowledge, an interchange of ideas. That's what we come here for, so that we can have some kind of conversation and exchange ideas and knowledge, learn new things, and just grow. We're here to grow together. So we appreciate you guys for coming out. Miss Nisi or Miss D, you got any last words or anything you want to say?
Like I've always said, it's the double standards for me. So think outside the box, get outside of everything that you were taught. And I get it. That's it. Like we talk about breaking cycles. And it's hard to break what you've been taught. It's hard to undo 20, 30, 40 years of what you are today. But start looking at life from a different lens. We always say, pick up a book and read. Just expound your mind. Look at different ways to view things and step back and assess your life for what it is. Be honest with yourself about who you are, about what you are, about what you expect, and you'll end up being a better person for it. But yeah, always community. You know that's my thing. Community.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
One teach one. Sankofa, baby. Open up a book. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But ditto to what Sister Dallas said. I mean, Dallas D said, you know.
So my thing is, please like, share, and subscribe. Join us back here next week on The Color of Truth, where we share interesting life stories and communicate about different topics. We appreciate you guys for coming out, and y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.